Scammers keep asking us to prove where the fraud is in the H-1B process. There's no fraud. Show me the fraud. Prove the fraud. Oh, well, hold on to your butts because we've got the development for you tonight and we're bringing receipts. Welcome back to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Have I got your attention, scammers? Are you listening? Tap, tap, tap. Is this thing on? I've got some revelations that will be sent to our government very, very quickly. By the way, before I get into it, I want to just remind you guys who keep asking, you're like, you've teased that there's more H-1B visa documentaries out. We are working on finishing that up. I am really hoping to have that to you by next week. Make sure you're subscribed to Sara Gonzales TX on YouTube. That is at Sara Gonzales TX. In order to watch that, that is where it is going to be dropped. Make sure that you are going. By the way, just go over there and subscribe anyway because we're testing a thing. YouTube. But to tide you over, we have a really, really big expose right now to show you how these fraudsters are recruiting people and stealing their wages, which just happens to be illegal. Where's the fraud? Where's the fraud? It's not fraud to work outside of a home. It's not fraud to register a business to a home. Yeah, I know, dipshit. We know. But the things that are happening are actually illegal, okay? Now, it might not shock you at all to find that they are using WhatsApp to find people. So there's a lot of +91 area codes in the WhatsApp groups. All right, a lot of +91 country codes, which just so happens to be India. One of our viewers sent us this at saratips@blazemedia.com. Make sure to send us your tips. Please, 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 guys, I love you so much. Please do not send an email to that email address saying thank you or telling me how fraud works. I already know how it's working. I already know to look into the H-4 EAD, and we are. I already know about the OPT. We are on it. Please don't flood my inbox with that. Please send us saratips@blazemedia.com if you are seeing specific companies that are shady, specific companies, or if you see things like this next one. It's a recruitment ad. Rakesh Janalagada. Your OPT days have already started. Why wait? It's a cute little advertisement. If you need your STEM extension, the clock is ticking. Genuine offer letters for STEM OPT extension. Quick turnaround and hassle-free process. This is, by the way, this is for people who are here as students. People who want to extend their student visas without getting into the details. Trusted assistance for F1 students across the U.S. Don't delay your STEM extension. Secure your offer letter today. Now, this same guy, Rakesh
nailed it.
Totally nailed it. He has been trawling H-1B forums on Facebook too, making offers to people. This person posted saying that they were laid off. I was laid off and my last working day was February 15th. I am currently on PTO. I am searching for Informatica, ETL developer jobs, and H-1B transfer opportunities. I'm also planning to apply for a B1, B2 visa and need help finding an immigration attorney in Texas. On that note, I've got one for him. The attorney doesn't know it yet, but anywho, stay tuned for that. Rakesh says, please call me. And this is his number. Please call me. He's got the job. He's got the gig for you. He's got you covered. Please call me. So we decided to do some undercover work. By the way, shout out to Patriot Mobile for our new burner phone that is sponsored specifically by Patriot Mobile. Make sure to go out and support this company. They are helping us with this undercover work by allowing us to use this phone totally for free. All right. Now, my producer, he is not Indian, but he was today. And he has this fake identity, and he is now an Indian man on the side. And so we reached out to Rakesh on WhatsApp to see what is this? What's the deal that you're offering, Rakesh? So here's some of these messages. My producer says, hello, I'm looking for help extending my OPT. I'm in the Dallas area. Can you connect me to people there? Do you have people who can help? And he says, I'm the one who can help. Call me. May I know your name, please? Very, very quick to say, call me. Isn't that interesting? He says, he gives him a fake name, right? And Rakesh says, hi, the fake name that he gave him. This is Rakesh from Exito Tech Inc. We are e-verified company, which I'm noticing is a trend. All these frauds, all these fraudsters, all these scammer companies, always on their website, they're like, e-verify. E-verify. We promise we participate in E-Verify. We are E-Verified company. Please call me when you are free and we will discuss your OPT extension, ... Now, you will notice this guy's going to drive you nuts if you're a grammar Nazi because every single thing that he has to say, there's always a continuation. He is an ellipses fan. He is an ellipses super fan. You will notice in these conversations. So he really wants to jump on the phone. Really, really, really wants to jump on the phone. He says, we're located in Michigan, but we can offer you job letter. Oh, well, that's kind of weird. Okay. My producer says, okay, that would be good. Are there fees? Before, the employer charged a small amount, which is not okay. But Rakesh seems to think it is. Yes, there is only one for offer letter, not charging for payroll, and also we will file your H-1B as well, which is so crazy because no one said anything about the H-1B. No one said anything about filing for an H-1B until Rakesh brought it up. So Rakesh knows exactly what this process is. He is quick to the scam. All right? Now, first, this was a lie. Later, we found out there is a charge for payroll, but that's going to come later, okay? As I said, you can't charge for an offer letter or a job letter or whatever the hell he called it. You can't charge for an offer letter. That's not legal. You either give this person a job and give them a real offer letter because you want them to come work for you, or you don't accept them as an employee, but you don't charge for an offer letter. All right? So off the bat, you're busted, dude. Okay? So, but we'll go on because it gets worse. My producer says, "Oh, great. Yes, I'm trying to get H-1B to get to H-1B. How much does it cost?" Rakesh says, "For H-1B only application fees you need to pay, which is mentioned by USCIS, $220. Offer letter amount we will discuss over call. It's a negotiable price." So this guy can't even speak English, by the way. Can't even speak English. Now, under federal regulations, employers are responsible for all fees paid to USCIS. All of the fees are the employer are responsible for. They're not allowed to charge a worker for any of it. Rakesh just must not be well versed on the law. Maybe he's just stupid. Maybe he just had no idea. Now, I mean, he is in India, so I guess he just really isn't well versed on US law, or he knows exactly what the hell he's doing. And these people think that they're going to get away with it. All right. He says, "Meanwhile, I'm sharing your number to my manager. He will be sharing you, my company. He will be sharing with you." I'll just do that. I'll do that edit for him. "My company E-Verified number and company details with you." All right. So now we enters a new character. The character is Karthik. Karthik is the manager. So Karthik enters the scene and says, "Hi," the fake name. "This is Karthik from Exito Tech Inc. I got your details from Rakesh. This is Karthik Puna, Talent Acquisition Manager." That is a fancy title. Talent Acquisition Manager. He only acquires talent. And they can only find it from India, apparently. We are acquiring talent at Exito Tech Inc. at 39555 Orchard Hill Place, Suite 600 in Novi, Michigan, 48375. For those of you who are following along at home, that's the worksite address, and it's exito-inc.com, E-Verify 2002846. So he's given all the information. My producer says, "Hi, Karthik. Thank you for sharing. Karthik says, let me know if you need any other information. My producer said, Rakesh mentioned he'd tell me about fees later when we speak, but do you know roughly how much it is to get the offer letter in H-1B? I just want to make sure I have enough. That is because my producer is a freaking rock star and he knew this guy would bite on it. Walked right into the trap. Karthik says, for filing H-1B only, registration charges, which is $220, and as per offer letter and payroll service, $1,000. My producer says, okay, great. Hoping to speak with Rakesh later. Karthik says, okay, we can slightly negotiate on this. By the way, you're the shittiest negotiator ever if you're like, okay, by the way, we can slightly negotiate on this. He didn't even say no. He just said, okay, great. He said, okay, great. He's like, all right, but we can negotiate it. We can do lower. You guys suck. You guys are dumb. You scammers are dumb. You're not smart. That's why this little jig's about to be up. Anywho, Karthik says, if you need any information, let me know. I can provide. And my producer says, is that just the OPT fee or is there another one for H-1B too? And one more question. Do you help with other document processing at all to help with the visa? Like what kind of services do you provide on the job side? Karthik says, call Rakesh. He will explain you in detail about all this. Call Rakesh. Get on the phone, please. We're not giving you any more information until you get on the phone and we hear your voice. Well, seeing as they weren't willing to go into more information over text, and I can't imagine why, we decided to call Rakesh to get the info.
Hello, Rakesh.
Yeah. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
I'm doing.
So, we have discussed earlier about your offer letter and payroll process, right?
Yes. I need help with OPT. So I need it to be extended, and my current one is running out.
Okay. So, did I tell you the service charge?
Sorry?
Did I tell you the amount you need to pay for the offer letter?
No. So how much does it cost?
So for the offer letter, we are charging $1,000, which is negotiable. It's a single-time payment. And to run your payroll, it will be $2,100, out of which you will be getting $1,800 as your salary in a bi-weekly check manner. Okay? For every 15 days, you will be generating a single check. Okay? The remaining $300 will be paid to IRS as taxes. And you will be given a portal access, which is Paycheck. You can download your pay stubs by yourself. Okay? In the meanwhile, I'll be sharing you the requirements which you are working right now for the marketing. So you need to apply by yourself. Okay?
Okay.
That way we can land on a job.
Okay, so
Which is a full-time W2, C2C, irrespective of anything. I will share all the required technology requirements to you. So you need to apply by yourself.
Okay. So $1,000
I'm not giving you any help.
And then it would pay $1,800 every week or
No, per month actually.
month. Okay.
Yeah. Per month it will be $2,100, out of which
Why
you
is
will
everything
be
a
getting
question?
back $1,800. 900 plus 900. 2 checks every month you are getting. Okay.
Okay. That makes sense. And then you mentioned help with H-1B, right?
Yeah, we do.
And then how much do you charge for H-1B?
That's just an application fees, $2,200. Sorry, $220.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the US ISPs make sure for the application fees that only will be collected. Once your profile gets picked, my immigration will guide you. Okay, so for the LCA filing and all, you need to pay. Once you're on the job, we will be sharing half of the amount to you. Whatever you paid for the immigration costs, charges, we will pay you half amount.
Okay, so
Initially you need to pay.
You initially pay USCIS and then it half comes from you, right?
Yes. Whatever the
Okay.
amount you spend on your LCA after your H-1B picked, that half amount will be refunded back to you.
Okay. And then what would be the job for the H-1B?
So there are 4 levels of wages. So right now we are applying all the consultants for level 2 wage. Okay, that would be easy for us to get picked. So more than that, also it will be picked, but the matching of your salaries will be very difficult while marketing your profile. So that is the scenario.
Okay.
Now we are only applying for level 2 wages.
Thank
Okay.
God for these subtitles. They are doing a
Right.
lot of heavy lifting.
Okay. And then I could stay in Dallas though, right?
Yeah, you can. So in the offer letter, I'll be mentioning as your position as remote. So I don't want you to relocate anywhere.
Okay. Okay. That's great. And then Exito,
Yes,
Exito. Okay. And then I would be working for that company.
yes. And one more thing, you will be on our payroll on our W2,
Okay.
Exito Tech INC, and your H-1B filing on my parent company, which is logging in INC. Okay?
Okay. Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
That's my parent company, and
Okay.
Exito is my sister company.
What is the parent
So,
company? Sorry.
Logging in Tech INC.
Logging in Tech INC. Okay. That makes sense.
So I'll share your number to my manager Karthik. He will share you all the. I think he is in touch with you, right? Karthik,
Yes,
from
he
Exeter.
is.
Okay, I think he shared my company verified details and his signature and everything.
Okay, great. And then do you know what the salary would be for H-1B?
Yeah, as I told you earlier, it will be, let's say, for example, 80,000 to 120K
Okay.
for level 2 wages. So we have to search for your job in that difference
Okay.
in between. Yeah.
Great. And then is there any like revenue sharing with the company or
So once you're on our W2, you've been landed on a project by us. So it will be 70 and 30.
Oh.
Whatever the bill rate comes from the client.
okay.
So it will be, we are going to share you 70% of
Got
the
okay.
second project. It will be 75, 20.
Oh.
So 70 to me,
Oh.
30 to
Oh.
Exito.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate.
Okay. So can we move forward?
Yes. Karthik can
Okay.
send me the portal.
Okay. Listen, Mr. Producer, if I may. Great job. Really great job. However, I could definitely tell that you are faking the accent. So that just shows there's not a lot going on up here for these people who are doling out all of these H-1Bs. But I just want to hone in on the obvious, okay? The key thing here is that they would withhold, he just said they're withholding 30% of this person's salary for their own profit. You can't do that. That is extremely illegal. That is fraudulent. By the way, USCIS, our direct contacts that we have, oh yes, we have those now. They confirmed that, all right? It is incredibly illegal. You know what they told us? You can't even take 1%. You can take 0%. That's all you can take. But what's interesting is what wasn't said. What wasn't said is my producer was never asked for his experience. He never gave them a resume. He was never even told a job title before he was offered the job, and he got the offer on the spot. That's how great he is. He didn't even have to provide a resume, any sort of information about his job experience. It's also interesting that he said my producer would get payroll from Exito, but the parent company would sponsor the visa. Now, as soon as that call was over, the manager, he did reach out. They're really good on the follow-up, okay? Karthik said, sent an email with the documents required to start the process. My producer said, thank you. Karthik said, please go through the email and let me know if you have any queries in it. Producer said, thank you so much. Karthik said, if you have any other questions regarding the process, let me know. I can clarify you. My producer said, I had a question about the OPT rate that gets paid. Is it also a 70-30 split with the company? Karthik says, yes. Yes, 70-30 for the first year. Then, because they are so kind and benevolent scammers, it's going to drop down to 75-25 after that. They're only skimming 25% of your salary off the top. Not legal. My producer says, does the H-1B salary split go down to 75-25 after the first year too, or does that stay at 70-30? Karthik says 75-25 after 1 year for H-1B. Also, they're so kind. Producer says, okay, great, that will help a lot. What kind of client will I be placed with? Can you tell me anything about this job? Rakesh will explain you about the marketing. I will be coordinating with the payroll process. Okay. I will be fully in charge of payroll process. Any information about payroll, I will coordinate with you. Now, we did some digging into these two companies. Exito hasn't actually sponsored many visas, just 2. Logging In Inc., the parent company, it's hard to say how many because they've got all these iterations of this. It's the same company, all these iterations of the same name. Just one of these, they filed hundreds of LCAs and been approved for several visas. This company used all the playbook tactics that we've been seeing, registered in Michigan. Funnily, Rakesh isn't listed as an agent on the business registry, but it's his parent company. It's his parent company. On their website, you have multiple locations. One of them is a site in the UK, which is, as it turns out, a residence. You're never going to believe this. Another residence. And look at there, another location in Hyderabad. Wow. Gee, I'm so shocked to hear this. Now, you can't blame Exito Tech for needing to recruit like this because, according to their website, their recruitment process is indigenous. It's indigenous, which I don't know, feels like a little illegal to me. Feels discriminatory. Now, 2 things we want. If you're a fraudster and watching this, know that we're onto your WhatsApp channels. We will find you. So you need to shut up shop right now. We're going to find you. We're going to find you. Okay? If they don't see this, if they miss it, please send us more tips about these chats that are happening. I know a lot of you have mentioned that you've seen them. Send them to us. We will infiltrate. SarahTips@BlazeMedia.com. We will keep infiltrating until all of this bullshit is done. We will keep infiltrating until all of this bullshit is done, as long as it takes. And by the way, every single one of these is going to USCIS. It's all going to USCIS. It's all going there. And it's not just the general tip line. All right, we've got a person. Okay? Now, I want to remind you guys to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Sara Gonzales Unfiltered, smash the like button and comment. It'll help us in the algorithm, which we all know is stacked against us. And make sure that you are subscribed over to Sara Gonzales TX. If this was interesting to you, make sure you're subscribed over there because that's where we're releasing all of these exposés that we're working on, and they will be vast. They will be vast. You guys are all going down. I want to thank our sponsor, Toups Co. Organics. Now, if you're like me, you're very maha-minded and you pay attention to labels, ingredients, stuff like that. And then you may do that on your food, and then you turn around and you slather on a bunch of chemicals on your skin. You don't think twice about what is actually in these products, and your skin absorbs a ton. That's one of the reasons that I switched to Toups Co. Because their foundation is incredible. The primer is great. The difference is really noticeable because it feels light, but it blends easily, and you don't get that like caked feeling. And it's really nice not having to choose between looking put together and feeling good about what's on my face. They've got a whole bunch of they've got these cheek sticks that are great as well. So if you're ready to simplify your routine, feel good about what you're putting on your skin, go to toupsandco.com/Gonzales. They're offering my listeners 25% off their first order with the code Gonzales. That is toupsandco.com/Gonzales. Use code Gonzales for 25% off your first order. I think a spot on our bingo card that no one was expecting is all of these illegals who, we talk about the rapes and the murders and the Lake and Rileys of the world and all of these ways that illegal immigration is affecting the country negatively. But one of the ones that I don't think anyone thought about that is now a big problem are these illegals getting commercial driver's licenses and operating, 18-wheelers, which is kind of a problem. It's kind of having deadly consequences. You see there's this crash right here that 3 people were killed in it. Police say that the driver was intoxicated, which is not a great idea when you drive a giant truck. And this is the driver, Jashan Preet, Star Wars name. an illegal from India. He came into California in 2022, released under Joe Biden. Obviously, you had another person from India who was driving a semi-trailer in Florida. You see him like just pull a Yui on the highway, car smashed into it. 3 Americans died. But wait, there's more. There's more. How could we forget about the illegal immigrant trucker charged with killing newlyweds in Oregon? This was Rajinder Kumar. Gosh, it's so weird. I'm noticing a weird trend on these names. Anywho, released into the country by Biden as well. So the question is, who the hell is issuing these CDLs and how are these people obtaining them so easily? My next guest, Frontlines TPUSA reporter Savanah Hernandez, actually made a documentary to find that very thing out.
I tell everyone that I talk to that the Google reviews on CDL schools are a gold mine of intel. You can type in your state or city, find the CDL schools, and then just look at the Google reviews because those students will leave reviews and they will put in there how long they went to the school.
سلامونه درنه هوادوالو زه د ټکساس هیوسټن څخه راغلی یم
جګان ایالت څخه راغلی نیوټا ایالت کینګ سی ډیل ته سکول ته 2 هفته کېږي دلته مې درس شروع کړو.
We ended up finding CDL schools located in places such as Ohio and Michigan that were advertising CDL programs in 6 different languages, including Arabic, Somali, and Hindi. We found reviews of students written in broken English or sometimes in a completely different language, stating that they were able to get their CDL in just 10 days. Videos of recent graduates were also posted advertising their new CDL certificates, oftentimes in different languages, and one school in Ohio was even offering free housing to people on TikTok, writing, "Ohio brother, we have house for stay for free." Now, what we found was definitely concerning.
When you take an individual who's not American and they come here and they find out that they're paid by the mile, if you're paid by the mile, you want to get as many miles as possible, as fast as you possibly can. And so the idea of safety or anything kind of goes out the window. So it's totally changed how drivers have been paid. The Americanized or the Canadianized immigrants who got here are turning around, realizing that they can make more money by going back to their home country, recruiting people who $400 a week might be a lot of money for them. They're turning around and recruiting them to bring them over here and then have them work to the bone.
Welcome to the show, Savanah Hernandez, the beautiful, the one and only. And I can add to your title. You are Frontlines TPUSA reporter and apparently documentary filmmaker.
Thank you, Sarah. Yes, I have worked the most extensively on this project than I ever have on another project in my life, because I really thought I was just going to ask the question, how are illegals getting CDLs, and get a simple answer? But what I uncovered was a web of fraud so vast that we are talking the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration relaxing regulations so that these migrants could open CDL schools more easily. We're talking PPP loan fraud. We are talking, every single aspect of trucking being completely overrun by illegal immigrants or sometimes legal immigrants who are importing people in to undercut the American trucker and the American trucking business, creating the unsafe environments that we have today.
Yeah, this feels like me right now. It feels like me with the H-1B stuff where I'm like, you just keep peeling back a layer and you find more and more and more fraud and more just corrupt dealings. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So I completely understand where you're coming from on that and how it can take up so much of your time. So tell me, what was the most egregious fraud that you guys uncovered in this documentary?
Sure. So I would honestly say just what's been happening in the entire trucking industry for the last 10 years. And I'll, of course, encourage people to watch the doc, but let me go ahead and give a quick summary. Basically, back in 2022, the FMCSA went ahead and allowed CDL schools to start self-certifying, meaning that there was really no government oversight and anybody could open a CDL school and be like, yeah, we're legitimate. Amazing. And then the FMCSA, and again, this is all under the Biden administration, they then decided, hey, by the way, we're also going to allow you guys to do third-party testing. So instead of going to the DMV to take your CDL test, we're going to give you a certificate at the school. You're going to take it to the DMV, and then you get your CDL license that way. Now, these CDL schools, before all of these regulations were relaxed, we had about 2,100 CDL schools, Sarah, nationwide. After the FMCSA, which again is tasked with federal motor carrier safety, after they relaxed that, the CDL schools jumped up to 32,000 nationwide.
Wow.
Okay, so that's what you're seeing on screen, where you have all of these migrant-run CDL schools, and it's crazy because these migrants have created an entire ecosystem, right? So basically, the way the migrants get over here is by being sponsored by a trucking company, which, by the way, is also migrant owned. They get sponsored by a migrant trucking company. They go to a migrant CDL school. They work for said trucking company. And then, I mean, we were even finding fraud in which, like, the people who work for the trucking insurance companies are also migrants. And so it's like everything is connected.
Oh my gosh.
It was absolutely insane to see all of this. And this was just one aspect of it, right? You also have the issues with DOT numbers, which anybody can very easily get. And what these migrants do is once they bring people over here, they have them apply for a DOT number. Now, that DOT number is supposed to be registered to one trucking company. And let's say your trucking company gets into a crash, right? You're tied to that number and all of your other trucks are tied to that number. Well, these migrants have registered sometimes, to hundreds of DOT numbers, and then they just switch out the number. And the trucks are on the road the same exact day as that trucking crash has happened. And it's why we are seeing such a huge uptick in these horrific semi-crashes, specifically with illegal immigrants or migrants across the U.S.
And again, this is a situation I was on with Sean Spicer earlier, and he asked us, we're kind of like grading the State of the Union, and asked us, okay, prioritize these issues that the president touched on. And one of them, of course, was the CDL for illegals. And I'm like, what? I just don't even, I couldn't even have imagined that we would be living in a world in which this was now an issue. But it is because you're giving these guys keys to a gigantic, deadly weapon, and they're killing innocent Americans. So it's like, it's just something that I just never thought in a million years would be like an issue that I wanted Congress to take up and deal with. And now it's one of the most important issues. Obviously, there are big issues everywhere, but this is a huge deal because the thought that some innocent American family can just be driving down the road, minding their own business and get mowed down by some irresponsible, illegal or migrant or whatever the hell you want to call them and not stand a chance, that is incredibly terrifying.
And Sarah, the reason why I was interested in this is because I live here in Austin, and on the I-35 last year, we had who was either Eritrean or Ethiopian migrant. This man slammed into completely stopped traffic. He caused an 18-car pileup. He killed a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. And that's why I initially got interested in this, because I was like, how the hell did this happen? And it's funny because the police, this guy was driving so badly, the police initially thought that he was under the influence of drugs or alcohol. His toxicology report came back and it was all clean. The guy that you actually were just talking about at the beginning of your segment here, where, people initially reported that guy was on drugs as well. He wasn't. His toxicology report came back clean. They're just that bad at driving that you can be completely stopped. And they're like, yeah, I think I pressed on the gas right now. And we're now living through a period in which, you have headlines like Congress no longer allowing illegal immigrants to drive 80,000-pound deadly semi-trucks while not being able to read road signs. And you're like, I'm sorry, what?
Right.
Why were we allowing that in the first place?
Right. Yeah, that was a thing that we were allowing. I mean, just in the headline that you read, I could definitely guarantee you that should not have happened. And somehow it's happening. So this A1 CDL training school apparently has taken down their entire TikTok page since your reporting they had this.
I know,
the one that you showed. They went bye-bye after
Mm-hmm.
Savanah Hernandez hit them.
I'm really sad that they took down their TikTok page of hundreds of migrants advertising their CDL school in foreign languages. I mean, I thought we were advertising this school to Americans, but another CDL school lost, and the DOT has been doing a good job of trying to shut down these schools. But again, we had 2,100. That number is now 32,000, and this is a nationwide issue. And then you also have the added aspect of California, New York, even Texas, issuing these non-domiciled CDLs to migrants who, again, shouldn't be behind the wheel. And I say migrant, not just illegal, because we have to keep in mind, too, that there have been a lot of loopholes to bring these people over here legally. And so we really need to highlight that and not just focus in on the illegal immigrant issue, because this is a migrant issue. Unqualified migrants, oftentimes, too, being exploited and brought in by other migrants to be exploited. This was a story just out of San Antonio, Sarah. You had two Hispanic men who were American citizens. They brought in immigrants from Mexico and they exploited them. And they said, we are going to turn you into ICE if you don't keep working for us. And so not only is this the, exploitation of migrants, which oftentimes they make them keep driving way past the hours that are legal. And then a lot of these guys are falling asleep at the wheel, causing crashes. But then at the same time, when it comes to American truckers and American businesses, they can't compete with the migrants who are working for a quarter of what they, are offering their services for to have safe trucking on the road.
Yeah, no, you are speaking my language. Like I said, this is the entire H-1B problem as well, is that we are farming this out to completely unqualified, IT professionals or whatever the hell the job is. And it turns out that there's a bunch of fraud that's happening. So they're not even qualified for the position that they hold. And then they're bringing more people over here. And we're ending up with a bunch of foreign workers that are really shitty and inexperienced and are causing problems. When you translate what I'm talking about with the H-1B over to an 18-wheeler, it becomes a much more deadly situation that we need to get a tamper on now. So tell everyone where they can find it.
Go on, Sav says on my X account, go follow or go find it there on the Frontlines TPUSA page as well. And Sarah, yeah, you know that meme where it's like the Lion King and it's Simba and it's like everything the light touches is us. That's America, except everything the light touches is fraud.
Yes.
Everything is fraud.
Yep. Yeah, no, you're right. I yearn for the day that we can uncover all of this fraud. I mean, we would be talking about millions upon millions of people who are removed from our country if we really were serious, if this government was really serious about rooting out fraud and getting to the core of the problem. I think Americans would be incredibly surprised at just how bad it's gotten. I appreciate your great work, Sav. It's going to take all of us exposing all of the issues with the legal immigration system now that President Trump has closed down the border. So I appreciate all of your great work. Everyone, go check out the documentary. It's incredible. Savanah's incredible and beautiful and talented and all the things. I love you, girl. Keep on keeping on.
Thanks, Sarah. You're my ultimate hype man. I love coming on this show.
All right. Love you. Talk soon. See ya.
Thanks, girl.
All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll be right back. You guys know I was just in D.C. causing trouble. Well, while I was causing trouble, I actually did some real interviews, one of which was with Senator Tommy Tuberville, who is just an incredible man, but he's really leading the charge specifically on, banning Sharia, making sure that we get Islam out of our country. One person who understands really how bad it is and how it's national suicide. And he is one person who really, really understands that. Here is my interview with Senator Tuberville. I am so excited to talk with Senator Tuberville. I hear I'm supposed to call you Coach, which I much prefer. Is that okay?
100%. Everybody calls me Coach up here. I started that when I first got here 5 years ago, and it stuck because there's a lot of senators here, and I don't want to be confused as a politician, so sure. I go as Coach.
Yeah, no, I love that. Coach, you have been one of the most vocal opponents to all of the Muslim population creeping into this country, Sharia law that is obviously the next step in what they are doing here. What do you want to tell viewers who think, oh, well, it's fine, it's just freedom of religion, this is a country of immigrants, there's nothing to worry about?
Well, first of all, I love this country. This country owes you one thing, and that's an opportunity to do whatever you want. Now, you might not achieve it the first time, but it allows you to get back up and go again. So, my dad died on active duty for this country, and when I got out of coaching 7-8 years ago, I got into ESPN a little bit, did some television, did some games. But I decided, I want to get back, I was never in the military. So I did this, and when I came here, I started seeing things that people kind of overlook. I mean, it's kind of, you look at the big things, you don't look at the small things. And I started seeing the growth of the Muslim communities all over our country. And we know what Barack Obama did. He's one of the worst presidents we ever had. He brings in 80, 90, 100,000, and he puts them in one place. It was all but a Zion in Minneapolis, and it was kind of hidden area up there where it was already liberal. And so they have grown. Now we've seen what they've done. And then during Afghanistan withdrawal, we brought in 150,000. We didn't. Joe Biden did. But we started to see a growth in the Muslim community. Now, you call it a religion. I don't call it a religion. I call it a cult. It is a cult because they believe in Sharia law. They believe in the caliphate. And what is a caliphate? Take over. Kill everybody that's not a Muslim. And there's, 8, 10 places in the Quran that they study that says kill the infidel. If you're not a Muslim, you will be killed. And so they can't put it any more clearer than that. So we have them moving into our country, but we have a good example. All you have to do is look what's happened in Europe. My God, they've taken it over and Europe is almost gone. Only 2 countries, Hungary and Poland, said no way, we're going to ruin our culture. Well, we're turning the Democrat Socialist Party, that I call them, they want to turn this country into a third world country, because when they do that, they can remain in control because they're going to get their votes. President Trump got 77 million votes. He got a lot of black minority votes, he got a lot of union vote, and he got a lot of the middle class vote. That never happened before. And President Trump got elected. So what do they got to do? They have to go and get these illegal aliens from Mexico and all of South America and the Muslims signed up to vote for them. That's the Democrat Socialist Party new girlfriend. Okay, that's what I call it. And so they got to court them, treat them right, write them a check, and it is becoming a disaster. Not at a small scale anymore. It is openly out there. And if we don't fight back, we don't have to worry about anything happening outside our country taking us over. It's going to happen within, and they have a game plan to do it, and it's going to happen if we don't have people up here and all around the country stand up and say enough's enough, because if we don't do it now, we're going to be fighting in the streets in years to come.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you're right, is all you have to do is point to the Quran. I mean, you just have to point to their own holy book, and they tell you, they give you the game plan. So it's very bizarre to me that people aren't understanding that. What are the odds that we do get Sharia law actually banned, at a federal level? I know they're talking about it in Texas. It's on the ballot as a proposition. I mean, proposition doesn't do much, but it at least signals to the lawmakers we're very serious about that. How serious do you think the rest of Congress is about doing that?
Well, you never get it to happen up here because you got people that are up here and they love to have a senator or congressman in front of their name, and they want to get reelected. That's the whole ball of wax up here. Get reelected. Come back up here and say that you're representing your constituents. We have a lot of them that do that. But we have a lot of them up here that there's no way they'd cross that fence or cross that line. And again, we're going to pay the price for it. Our kids and grandkids are going to pay our price, and it might even happen even in our lifetime. But it's coming. They say, well, you can't ever take over our country. We're too strong and we're unified. No, we're not. The Democrats are trying to divide us in every possible way they can. We have probably a small majority of people that really believe in the country like most of us do anymore. Education's ruined us, or higher education, or secondary education. It's a disaster in a lot of places. There's some good, but when the Biden administration came in and they started pushing this DEI, social justice nonsense on our kids, a lot of them bought into that. Yeah. And they bought into that, and then when you do that, you're going to buy into all the other things that Republicans look at as not American, and that brings in the Muslims again. And again, there's probably some good Muslims in this country, but you're only a good Muslim if you don't go by the Quran and don't go by Sharia law. If you want to assimilate and go by our laws and our Constitution and our way of life and our culture, hey, I'm fine with you. But don't come in here and try to change what our forefathers built, and it's the best country ever, but we can go down the drain very quickly.
Yeah, I always say that a peaceful Muslim is a Muslim that is not actually abiding by their own documents. Yeah. I want to switch gears here. I want to respect your time. We've got about a minute left with you. I want to ask what your thoughts are on the NIL. My husband and I are college football fans, and we have a lot of gripes. I get it. I want the kids to be paid, but would you change any components of how it's actually playing out?
Oh, 100%. Now, I was all for 35 years of coaching that players should make a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And then you had the federal judge in California say, we need to open this up, let them make money off their name, image, and likeness. Never dreamed that it's gotten to this point, and it's really out of control. Now, again, the cat's out of the bag. You're never going to bring back the money that's been put into players now. Not going to happen. But what we can do is we can stop this transferring every year. It is ridiculous. What's the point of going and playing college football and basketball or track, whatever? It's getting an education on the side. That's not happening now. Kids are not even going to class. I mean, they're going, they're collecting their money. Next year, if they can make $50,000 more, they'll transfer to another school. It's becoming minor league football. And what's going to happen, the greatest thing about college sports is the fans, because they're very patriotic. They love their school, and they're going to show up and be a part of it. But you continue to do this, and you don't have any loyalty with the players, these $400 or $500 tickets that they're buying right now is going to go down. And when you start losing money as a university, some schools can make it without it, but there's a lot of them that can't. So I would be for, you have 5 years to play. Once you start your clock, you got 5 years, no exceptions, and then you get to transfer one time. That would be my way of trying to head off the disaster that we're getting ready to see in the future. I love sports. I love college football. I still live at Auburn, and I go to games there, go to Alabama games. I might see your husband there someday. but I love it. But I love what college sports brings. It brings teamwork and work ethic, and education, a chance for kids to do better in life. But that's gone. Now it's all about money.
Yeah, you're right. Coach, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
So, Stephen, how does it make you feel that my first meeting with Senator Tuberville, he wanted to make sure to point out to me that he, as the coach of Auburn, beat Alabama 6 consecutive times?
I remember that very, very fondly. I hated Tommy Tuberville when I was in school. I would have said that he did, in my first year there in 2001, we did win on the Plains. So, and then Nick Saban got him fired after 2007 after we beat their ass 35-0.
No.
It's the only thing I'd say to him.
So Stephen has a little clapback is what I'm hearing.
He did. I mean, legitimately, that picture of 6 is what he legitimately did that. Like that entire year after they won 6 in a row.
That is so funny. So what Stephen's referring to is he took a picture. We took a picture, and we actually, in the picture, he was holding up 6, and he was like, "You tell your husband this is for him. This is for the 6 consecutive times." And I was like, "You are such a troll, sir," but I'll tell him.
It's just Barners. Don't worry about
it. He really is such a great character. And by the way, he is running for governor of Alabama. And he needs to win that because he is a really strong conservative voice, and he's unafraid, as you could tell by the.
He's going to win.
It's not even close.
Win that. No, he'll win that. Alabama's a deep red. They're not like Texas where they've got wishy-washy Republicans.
Which is so embarrassing because everyone looks to Texas to be like the bastion of the deep red oasis. And it's like, no, actually, that's Alabama. Here in Texas, we can't even get our Speaker of the House elected by a Republican majority. That's embarrassing.
And we have John Cornyn.
Not for long. Not for long, bitch. Your days are numbered. I know you think you're going to go in a runoff. Maybe you are. It's just going to extend the pain, extend the torture, John Cornyn. Okay, we're just extending your torture. We're going to draw this out. And then finally, several months later, after you spend all your money, you're going down, bitch. Anywho, I don't have very solid opinions on that race. Just kidding. Go vote for Ken Paxton. All right, we'll be right back. Boy, this was fun. We had fun today. Who knows what tomorrow brings? Stay tuned. We'll see. Good night.